Workplaces can be dangerous, sometimes leading to fatal accidents. In this video, we'll delve into 5 of the most disturbing workplace deaths ever recorded. These true stories reveal the severe risks people endure while working and serve as a stark reminder of why safety measures are essential to protect lives and prevent tragedy. It was October 11, 2012, in Santa Fe Springs, California. Jose Milena, a 62-year-old employee at Bumblebee Foods, began his shift like any other day, preparing pallets of canned tuna for processing. Known for his dedication and reliability, Jose had spent years at Bumblebee Foods and was committed to his role. However, this day would take a tragic turn. Jose's work required handling large industrial ovens, which reached temperatures of 270 degrees Fahrenheit and were each about 35 feet long. On that day, Jose stepped into one of these ovens for routine maintenance, unaware of the risk ahead. A series of mistakes ensued. Thinking he was on a break, one of Jose's co-workers began loading the oven with 6 tons of canned tuna, unknowingly sealing Jose inside. The oven was activated and the temperature started to rise. By the time anyone noticed Jose was missing, it was too late. A search ensued, with employees frantically combing through the facility. 2 hours later, they found him in the now cooled oven, bringing a devastating end to an unimaginable incident. Following this tragedy, investigations revealed critical safety lapses at Bumblebee Foods. The company had no safety checks to ensure ovens were empty before activation, and no system to monitor workers entering these dangerous areas. Basic safeguards, like designated spotters or an escape mechanism, were not in place, gaps that proved fatal for Jose. Deputy District Attorney Hoon Chun, who handled the case, called it one of the most heartbreaking incidents. He described the tragedy as unimaginable, emphasizing the depth of suffering Jose may have endured. This case underscored the need for serious consequences and accountability in workplace safety practices. The legal fallout was significant. Bumblebee Foods and 2 key employees, Plant Operations Director Angel Rodriguez and former safety manager Saul Flores, faced serious charges for breaching occupational safety standards. The company pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor for failing to establish an effective safety protocol. This led to a historic settlement. Bumblebee Foods was ordered to pay $6 million, the largest penalty in California for a workplace safety violation. The amount reflected the severity of the incident, far surpassing standard fines. Angel Rodriguez and Saul Flores also faced individual penalties. Rodriguez, who agreed to a misdemeanor charge, completed community service and paid around $11,000 in fines. Flores, who pled guilty to a felony, received probation and fines of approximately $19,000. Both men had initially faced possible prison sentences and substantial penalties, showing the serious nature of these breaches. Beyond fines, Bumblebee Foods was required to make safety reforms. They invested $3 million to upgrade their ovens to prevent similar accidents. Additional employee training programs were implemented to ensure such protocols were understood and followed, highlighting a renewed commitment to workplace safety. Jose's family received $1.5 million as part of the settlement. They expressed profound sorrow, but hoped that changes in Bumblebee Foods' safety practices would prevent similar tragedies. The impact of his loss extended beyond his immediate family to colleagues and the community, all mourning a preventable tragedy. Investigators later discovered that California's Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, had previously cited Bumblebee Foods for inadequate safety measures and fined it $74,000. Unfortunately, the necessary changes were not made in time to save Jose. Bumblebee Foods stated the settlement, committing to prioritize safety to avoid future incidents. They acknowledge Jose's loss as a painful reminder of the importance of strict safety practices. Jose Milena's story is a powerful example of how easily lives can be affected when workplace safety is compromised. The events raised difficult questions. What if Bumblebee Foods had enforced stricter safety protocols? Could a simple check have prevented this disaster? Jose's death shows the critical need for workplace safety reforms reminding companies of the high oversight cost. This incident affected Jose's family, colleagues, and the wider community. The reforms prompted by this tragedy aim to ensure no other family experiences such a heartbreaking loss, emphasizing the essential role of safety in the workplace. It was November 4th, 2024, in Jackson, Mississippi. Darrell Sheriff, a 41-year-old private contractor, was known for his dedication to work and family. On this day, he set out to pick up a load of asphalt from AJ Materials on McDowell Road, expecting just another typical job. Darrell's commitment to his work earned him respect in the community, but what began as a routine task turned into an unexpected tragedy. Darrell arrived at the site around 10:30 a.m., driving his dump truck to load up the hot asphalt, typically heated to around 275 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit to keep it pliable. Handling asphalt at this temperature is inherently risky, as it can cause severe burns and the fumes can lead to nausea. Despite the dangers, Darrell, a skilled professional, took all necessary precautions and was confident in his experience. Just as he prepared to load the asphalt, Darrell's truck experienced a malfunction. The hydraulic line under the truck needed repair. Familiar with such issues, Darrell immediately began working under the vehicle to fix it. However, while he was under the truck, the tailgate opened unexpectedly, releasing tons of hot asphalt that instantly buried him. Nearby workers saw the accident and rushed to assist, but the heat and immense weight of the asphalt made it impossible to free him. Despite their efforts, Darrell could not survive the injuries caused by the extreme heat and pressure, and he was tragically pronounced dead on the scene. Jackson Police Chief Joseph Wade later described the scene as devastating, emphasizing the traumatic impact of witnessing such a tragedy. Darrell's death shocked everyone. His family arrived shortly after, deeply shaken, and grieving the sudden loss of a man they described as hard-working and loving. Chief Wade offered condolences to Darrell's family, calling on the community to support them during this difficult time. With the holiday season approaching, he noted that this loss was especially heartbreaking, as Darrell was simply doing his job and supporting his family. An investigation is underway to determine what went wrong with the hydraulic system and led to this accident. The police believe the incident was unintentional, but are working to understand the exact cause. Meanwhile, friends, family, and community members shared memories of Darrell on social media, expressing sorrow for his sudden loss. One friend wrote, "R.I.P. Darrell. We've been close since high school. Life doesn't give any guarantees." Others posted heartfelt tributes, remembering Darrell as a devoted family man and reliable friend. Many comments expressed the deep loss felt by those who knew him well. This incident highlights the dangers associated with jobs involving hazardous materials. Working with hot asphalt carries significant risks, and incidents like this have sparked conversations about improving safety protocols to protect workers. The tragedy is a sad example of the hazards that come with certain occupations and the importance of safety for all workers in the industry. It was July 3, 2024, at Chabahar Konarak International Airport in southern Iran. Abulfazl Amiri, a mechanic known for his meticulous work and dedication, was performing routine maintenance on a Boeing 737-500. The plane had just completed a flight from Tehran, and passengers and crew had already left. Amiri, trusted and respected by his colleagues, was prepared to conduct a routine inspection, which he had done countless times. Following protocol, a safety area was established around the aircraft's right-hand engine. The engine's cover flaps were open and started up for testing, a standard procedure that helps ensure safety. While working within this designated zone, Amiri realized he had left a tool near the engine. Ignoring the risk, he returned to the running engine to retrieve it. In a tragic moment, the engine's powerful suction pulled him into the intake. The engine was running at high power, and within seconds, the intense force and heat created a devastating fire. Witnesses described the scene as overwhelming, with no chance of survival. Emergency responders quickly arrived, extinguishing the fire, but Amiri's life had already been taken in an instant. The aftermath was chaotic, with firefighters working rapidly to secure the scene. The airport was temporarily closed as authorities investigated how such a tragic accident occurred despite strict safety protocols. Iran's aviation authority ordered a comprehensive inquiry to understand what went wrong. Varesh Airlines, the operator of the 26-year-old aircraft, also faced scrutiny as officials investigated whether their safety procedures were followed correctly. The investigation raised questions about why the engine's cover flaps were left open during testing, a practice typically avoided unless specific tests require it. This incident shows the dangers faced by ground crew working with powerful engines. Sadly, Amiri's accident was not an isolated one. Similar tragedies have underscored the need for strict safety protocols and constant vigilance. In May, for instance, at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam, another person was killed after being drawn into the engine of a KLM Cityhopper Embraer 190. The investigation later revealed that the individual had climbed into the engine, and his death was ruled intentional. In December 2023, Courtney Edwards, a 34-year-old mother and ground crew worker, was also involved in a similar accident at Montgomery Regional Airport in Alabama. She approached the running engine of an Embraer 170 operated by Envoy Air and was drawn inside. Despite repeated warnings to keep her distance, the tragic accident occurred, deeply affecting the entire team and leading to an investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB. These incidents underscore the critical need for strict adherence to safety measures when working around aircraft engines. Even with all protocols in place, the unpredictability of human error or oversight can lead to devastating outcomes. After Amiri's death, Iran's aviation authority intensified its efforts to understand the specific sequence of events. Investigators reviewed maintenance logs, interviewed witnesses, and examined safety practices, focusing on why the engine cover flaps were open and how Amiri ended up within the restricted safety zone. Varesh Airlines cooperated fully, providing access to all necessary records and personnel. Depending on the investigation's outcome, the airline could face serious consequences, especially if any gaps in safety measures are uncovered. This tragic event has shocked the aviation industry, particularly among ground crew and maintenance staff who face daily risks in their work. It tells us of the dangers involved and the crucial need for unwavering commitment to safety. Often, aviation authorities respond to such incidents by reviewing and updating safety guidelines to prevent future occurrences. Witnessing these kinds of accidents can be deeply traumatic, and support was offered to colleagues and bystanders who were present during the accident. Many in the aviation industry deal with the emotional toll of working in such high-risk environments, and airlines increasingly recognize the importance of mental health support for their staff. Though aviation safety standards are among the highest, incidents like these underscore the inherent risks. The hope is that improvements in safety protocols and awareness can help prevent future tragedies and better protect those who work tirelessly behind the scenes. It was a calm Monday morning in 2019 in South Jamaica, Queens, at 6:30 a.m., when a tragedy left a family devastated and a community grieving. Granville Wiltshire, a 67-year-old restaurant worker at the Door, a well-loved Caribbean eatery, was starting his shift. Originally from Jamaica, Granville had lived in the U.S. for nearly 20 years and was cherished by co-workers and friends for his reliability and positive spirit. That day, Granville was preparing to clean the restaurant's sidewalk, a routine part of his job. He went to the basement to gather supplies which were stored there. A lift connected the basement to a hatch on the sidewalk above, designed for transporting goods between floors. Unfortunately, as Granville used the lift, something went wrong. Granville activated the lift alone in the basement, but it malfunctioned, trapping him in a deadly position. The lift somehow pinned him against the wall, causing fatal injuries. His head was visible from the hatch on the sidewalk, creating a shocking scene for passers-by. A pedestrian spotted Granville's body and, horrified, rushed to inform the restaurant staff. They arrived at the scene only to find their beloved colleague lifeless and partially exposed on the sidewalk. Emergency responders arrived quickly, but sadly they could do nothing. Granville was declared dead at the scene, and the heartbreaking news spread fast. The news crushed Granville's family, including his daughter Simone and son Fabian. Simone, in tears, expressed how much her father meant to her, describing him as endlessly dependable. His wife, Maisie, was equally heartbroken. She reminisced about his dedication and honesty and recalled the years they shared before he moved to the U.S. for work. "He was always so joyful, always singing," she said, her voice filled with sadness. Simone remembered her father's humor and love for music, particularly reggae legends like Bob Marley and Jimmy Cliff. She also spoke about his sense of style, recalling how he loved to match his clothes, often putting on his new outfits immediately. At the door, Granville's co-workers shared the family's sorrow. Michaela Holliday, a colleague who worked with him at another restaurant, called him a sweetheart and jovial. Another co-worker, Gary Robinson, expressed disbelief over the malfunction, as the lift was usually operated safely. Although they were unsure what exactly went wrong, Robinson noted that there were security cameras that might shed light on the incident. The city's buildings department began investigating to uncover the cause of the lift's failure. The lift itself had no prior reported issues, although the restaurant had an unrelated stop work order for unpermitted construction dating back to 2008. Due to the ongoing investigation, the restaurant's manager declined to comment. One of Granville's supervisors, who completed the sidewalk scrubbing that day, was visibly shaken, saying, "That could have been me." Tony, another chef at the restaurant, also mourned Granville, remembering him as a friendly and humorous person who would often joke with the staff. For 8 years, Granville had been a fixture at the door, working hard to provide for his family. In addition to his role at the Caribbean restaurant, he held a second job as a prep cook at a nearby barbecue spot. His dedication and work ethic left a lasting impression, and his sudden loss left a deep void in those who loved him. The accident raises lingering questions. What if the lift had undergone regular maintenance checks? Could this have been prevented with enhanced safety measures? And what if someone else had been in the basement with Granville? Could they have acted in time to save him? These questions show the need for improved workplace safety standards and are a painful reminder of the far-reaching impact of tragic accidents on families and communities. It was June 15, 2021, in Zakho, Iraq's Dohuk Governorate District. Isa Ismail, a 25-year-old chef and father of 3, was preparing food for weddings and events at the Hazel Hall. Known for his skills, he had been a cook for 8 years, often handling wedding and funeral events. That day, Isa was making chicken soup, a popular dish for gatherings, but things took a devastating turn. While working, Isa reportedly slipped and fell into a large pot of boiling chicken soup, which had been placed on the kitchen floor. The severe burns covered over 70% of his body. In unbearable pain, Isa managed to pull himself out of the pot, collapsing on the floor. His co-workers quickly called for help and rushed him to a hospital 40 miles away in Dohuk. At the hospital, doctors and nurses worked tirelessly to save Isa, who was receiving intensive care for his critical burns. Despite their efforts, the injuries were too extensive, and Isa passed away after 5 days on June 21, 2021. His untimely death struck his family, friends, and community hard, raising concerns about safety standards in Iraq's kitchens. Isa's father, Mohammed Ismail, and his relative, Zervan Hosni, shared their pain and loss with the media, describing Isa as a dedicated family man who loved his work. Despite earning just 25,000 Iraqi dinars a day, or about $17, he worked tirelessly to support his family. His passing left an emotional and financial gap for his family, who now face a future without his support. News of Isa's tragic accident spread quickly across Iraqi media and social platforms, sparking widespread grief and frustration. Many people have criticized commercial kitchens' lack of safety standards, particularly the risky practice of placing large hot pots on the floor. This accident highlighted the need for stricter safety measures in workplaces, as it posed a major risk for employees like Isa, who work under such conditions. Zakho, the district where this tragedy occurred, is in the Kurdistan Autonomous Region of Iraq. It is known for job opportunities and attracts people seeking work despite limited safety regulations in many workplaces. Zacco's main city is known for landmarks like the Dalal Bridge and Zacco Castle. Still, Issa's death drew attention to the overlooked dangers in its labor market, especially for those in the food industry. The incident also recalls other cases involving severe burns from hot liquids, such as the well-known case of Stella Liebeck, an American who suffered serious burns from a hot coffee spill and later sued McDonald's. The case raised awareness about the dangers of high-temperature liquids and the need for caution in handling them. Issa Ismail's tragic passing is a sad reminder of the risks of routine tasks without proper safety protocols. His dedication to his work and love for his family has left a lasting impression on his community, and his story has fueled conversations about improving safety in the industry to protect others from similar tragedies.